Moving into the 2016 season, things have changed a lot in the MyDriver universe. This season sees the biggest shake-up in the driver market for a while, with the likes of Mercedes and McLaren changing their entire driver lineups. Here's a recap of what's happened since September at the Japanese Grand Prix last year to now at the pre-season testing for the 2016 season in March. Following the Japanese Grand Prix last year, Aarava announced he would not be re-signing with McLaren despite winning both championships with them. Rumours were that he was in talks with Christian Horner about a Red Bull drive for 2016 after being spotted talking to Horner at the Japanese Grand Prix in the paddock, but nothing was yet confirmed. This move not to re-sign opened up a seat at McLaren, which Lewis Hamilton swiftly filled in September. There were rumours all season long that last year Hamilton was very unhappy with Mercedes' downfall and that McLaren were courting him for many weeks to come back to their team. The deal was initially going to mean an all-star lineup with Aarava and Hamilton, but now it will be an adequate replacement deal. As for Jenson Button, he's also jumped ship and signed for his old team Williams, replacing a retiring Massa. He stated he wants to end his career on his own terms and that McLaren were not prepared to give him a contract, so he signed for his old team on a year-to-year basis. With McLaren then still left with one seat to fill, they've decided to take a punt and promote Van Dorn to a full racing seat. Meanwhile, across at their rivals Ferrari, Kimi Räikkönen has decided to retire after his failed championship attempt. He was asked for a statement but declined to comment. This left the door wide open for Nico Rosberg to make a surprise switch to Ferrari to make the red suits an all-German lineup. There are rumours about Rosberg's relationship with Mercedes breaking down all season long and that this was inevitable, and Sebastian Vettel has welcomed the move and says he's really looking forward to working with the fellow German. Speaking of Vettel, there were rumours for a short time in September that he might get axed after a poor 2015 and disqualification in the final race of the season, but Ferrari have said they are fully behind him and think that he can challenge for the championship this season. At this point now, it was October and Mercedes were left without any drivers signed for their 2016 campaign. They quickly promoted Pascal Wehrlein to their full-time seat, saying he's shown exceptional composure in every testing session he's done and that he's deserved a chance. Red Bull at the same time have now promoted Max Verstappen to their A-team, with Kvyat getting the axe completely from Formula 1, as Max's Toro Rosso seat was instead filled by 2015 GP2 driver Pierre Gasly. Ricciardo, however, was a doubt. Reports said that he was frustrated with the team's performance in 2015 and needed convincing about their 2016 package. And at the same time, back at the Japanese Grand Prix, of course, Aarava was rumoured to be in talks with Red Bull to maybe replace him. Going toward late October though, it was reported in a shock twist that Aarava would actually be signing for Mercedes. The Silver Arrows reportedly struck a lucrative $70 million deal, which would see him become the highest paid driver in 2016, ahead of Vettel's $50 million deal and Hamilton's new $60 million deal with McLaren. By the beginning of November, it was fully confirmed, and soon after, Ricciardo was also announced as signing a new contract with Red Bull. As for the rest of the field, Lotus have transformed back to the Renault Works team and signed an all-new lineup of Kevin Magnussen and Jolyon Palmer. Manor Racing, with the prospects of a much improved season in 2016, have signed up Romain Grosjean, who is out of a job from that Lotus to Renault transformation. Alongside the Frenchman will be Matsushita. This comes after McLaren striking a deal with Manor to put him in the seat, promoting him from GP2. And finally, Sauber and Force India have remained unchanged, and Toro Rosso confirmed Sainz will be staying on to pair the newly signed Gasly. And so with that, there's your recap of how everything unfolded in the driver market preceding the Japanese Grand Prix to now at pre-season testing. It means that this season will be very intriguing, as there are so many unknowns as to how all these drivers will perform at their new teams and in Formula 1 indeed for the new debutants. And the same can be said for the teams, as McLaren have reportedly been working very hard to regain their pace following the drop-off of the last season. Red Bull and Renault have also apparently been making huge strides forward in their power delivery system, leaving journalists to speculate where Mercedes will really be in the pecking order. All these questions will start to get answered in the opening round at the Bahrain Grand Prix, but what can be said for now is it should be another cracking season. And so now to round out this special pre-season report, we bring you this clipping from the press conference at the Thursday session at Bahrain.
So tell me, Aarava, what were your motives for joining Mercedes?
Mainly a new challenge, I think I would say. After last season winning both championships with McLaren, I think I just wanted something a bit different. I've sort of done that. Tick that off in the box. Already getting a world championship, which I'll forever be grateful for McLaren. I'll always respect them as a team, and as all the people there back at the factory and in the garage I spent time with. Amazing time, amazing year. Last year, enjoyed working a lot with Jensen, but I just think for me personally, I just wanted a new challenge in the sport, and I think not re-signing was the thing that was going to give me that, and it was quite nerve-wracking, quite late into September that we got that call from Mercedes, but I'm glad we worked it out, because I think the season ahead, we know it's going to be a challenge for sure, but that's what I've signed up for, and I think that's the main thing. And also just the general feel of the team. I've got a few familiar faces that have come to Mercedes this season as well, along with me, so that will be nice to kind of settle into. But yeah, I guess I'd say mostly just a new challenge this season.
From the preseason testing, where do you think you guys are in terms of pace? Will defending your title be quite tough this season?
I think from pre-season testing, it's quite clear that we're maybe not where we want to be. You know, for sure, McLaren have really worked quite hard over the winter, which is no surprise to me and probably isn't to all of you. So I think the pecking order would probably be around, you know, McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull, and then I think we're probably behind those three, which is definitely not where we want to be. But I think we knew this coming in. So I think, you know, we've got a roadmap, as I mentioned. Mercedes, when we struck the deal, they came to me. You know, they showed me the plans for all the upgrades. So I think we're in a good place, a solid foundation. We haven't lost more ground over the winter period. We've only improved our foundation, but I think with the upgrades coming later on, it could be a good season. Of course, we'll start off with a bit of a struggle. It's going to be a bit weird to get used to the Mercedes. It's going to be a bit of a different car to kind of drive in the corners and the power delivery system. But for sure, I think also with the change of calendar, with Spain being there instead of Russia, I think that's going to be a great place to bring a lot of upgrades, because that's where we go testing. So we can bring upgrades kind of confidently, knowing the data they're going to bring there for Spain. So that will be definitely an important part. And yeah, I just think we're just behind the top three, which I think we know I think we know where we're going to be there. So yeah, it's going to be a difficult start, but maybe with some luck and good strategy, we can do well straight from the first race.
And final question from me: what do you think of your old teammate being dropped for the youngster Van Dorn?
It's a tricky one. I mean, I really speaking about Jensen, I really enjoyed working with him. Great guy outside the car and in the car. Really good teammate, really competitive teammate. Obviously, you know, he had a bit of bad luck in the middle of last season, but he started off really strong with 2 wins, which really, you know, kicked me into high gear to kind of start working hard outside the car to get, you know, everything right for that race day. So, you know, I personally really enjoy working with him, and it's great to see that he stayed in the sport. From what I talked to him, you know, outside of the car, it definitely seemed like he, you know, really still enjoys his racing, and he wanted to, you know, if he was going to end it, he wants it to end on his terms. And I wasn't really aware of any kind of review for McLaren about, you know, him leaving. Perhaps maybe that changed after the championship win, as it did with me personally, about leaving the team. So I can't really say too much else about that. It'd just be speculation on my part, but I'm really happy to see that he stay in the sport with Williams for at least one more year. It's going to be great to see him hopefully out on track again for some more battles. And as for Stoffel, I've only talked to him a few times back at the McLaren factory last year, and you know, he's a nice guy. He always gave really good feedback in the simulator, so yeah, I'm sure he'll do a solid job straight off the bat from McLaren, and I wish him luck as a rookie in Formula One as I was last season. And I mean, for my sake, for Mercedes' sake, I hope it's not the same sort of debut as I had. But you know, we'll see. All right, I'm free to go. All right, cheers. Thanks.